Greetings. I'm listening.
Good to meet you.
I've been expecting you.
For the good.
You come get the voodoo.
Hey there. And you are?
Light be with you.
You come to consult the spirits?
Welcome to Orgrimmar. Have you come to serve the Horde?
Shiny. Sail here. Me buy and trade. What?
Sail here. Me buy and trade. What?
Hello and welcome to Ctrl Alt WoW, the podcast for those of us who love World of Warcraft and love making many alts. Today is Monday, June 10th, 2019, and this is episode 617 entitled, Do You Remember Darkmoon Faire? Vanilla Style. I'm Aprillian, your host, and with me are my two awesome co-hosts. Hello, Constructs. How are you today?
I'm feeling fantastic. It's been a really, really good day. It's really sunny out here where I am, and I'm hoping the weather holds up for the week.
Let the sun shine in, the sun shine in.
How about yourself, Brilliant?
And I am great. The weather's been nice. I had 2 good days off, and I got to play, so it's a win-win situation. How are you, Grand Negus?
I am good. I am really good. I had some really nice things happening to me the last week, so I'm really great even. So yeah.
Well, great. I would like to start off with wishing everybody happy Pride Month, because this is Pride, and we do have some listeners, including myself, who celebrate Pride. Did you hear? Not to make this political, but there's a group in Boston who wants to celebrate not white pride, heterosexual pride, straight pride.
I'm not sure I get the message there, but I hear them, I guess.
Yeah. Unless you had to struggle, then you don't, there's no things for you to celebrate. But hey, congratulations, Med. Well done. Earned 50 daily.
That's my Demon Hunter.
Congrats. Anyhow, let's get this party started. Oh, what's going on this week? That's what we need to talk about. What is
This
going
week we have, let's see. What do we have? We have actually this week, or in our case tomorrow, we have World Bonus Event Week starting, where you get bonus. Is it a bonus item for each final boss in a dungeon?
Oh. Okay.
And then we have the PvP brawl. That this week it is Deep Wind Dunk.
Right.
And since it's the first show of the month, I thought we'd start with talking a little about what's going to happen within the upcoming month.
Okie dokie.
So this month, next week, we'll have Time Walking Burning Crusade.
Okay.
That's 18th through 25th. Then we have, in the same week, the Battleground bonus week.
Nice.
No, not true. That's 25th through 2nd of July.
Okay.
So that's because there's always a week off from the brawls. So my bad. Then we have the PvP brawl that starts on 25th through 2nd. Like I said, that's South Shore versus Terran Mill this time. It's like an iconic battle
Right.
of the factions.
Absolutely.
And I really like the fact that they introduced this dungeon, so to speak, or whatever you want to call it, open world dungeon event thing, instance version that they originally designed or reintroduced for the 10th WoW anniversary. So that's 5 years old already, that thing.
Wow.
So, yeah. That's happening 25th through the 2nd of July. And then we have the big thing this month, and that's Midsummer Fire Festival. And that starts on the 21st and goes all the way through July 5th. With the fireworks spectacular on the 4th and the 5th of July.
One of my favorites, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I think this year I may go and steal some fires from the
juggling the torches.
Yes, Silver Moon.
The pain.
The only place I could do it because everywhere was the lag fest. But even Stormwind is hard.
I go to Ecuador.
Exodar?
Yeah, Exodar. Thank you.
Ecuador is a little further.
It's a little bit different. Yeah, right.
I usually go to Thunder Bluff to do it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because the ground there, the sandy ground is the lightest that you can get.
Yeah.
So, and it's got that special sandy, not the light stone, white stonish ground.
Right. You're talking about for torch. You're talking about for torch.
Yeah, torch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking about for stealing the torch, but yeah, I see what you're saying. It does.
So, yeah, that's basically it. What we have for the upcoming week and the rest of the month.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's get started.
I've had a fantastic weekend. WoW. It's very comforting. Those battlegrounds where you're not necessarily putting out more damage, but you feel like you're contributing more by pushing all the buttons all at once. Bad boy. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?
Constructs, how's your weekend WoW been?
I had a good time. I was talking last week. It was debating whether we should chip in for my buddy to play the game or not, and I just should have bought the whole game for him. And actually, I didn't read the fine print. I bought the new to WoW and 1 month of game time, and I looked, and then he got a letter saying you're not eligible for this gift, so your friend will get a refund. That's it. So go read the fine print. I'm like, oh yeah, it's WoW for beginners and 1 month of game time, but you have to have a brand new account. You have to have never played the game and all this.
Yeah. Wow.
So anyway, I went back in and I read correctly this time what I was supposed to do, and I sent to the correct recipient, and he texted me the next day. He goes, I got it. He goes, we're going to play all night. Okay, so we played and played and played. Whew. Those were some long hours lost into the nether there. And I was like, oh, I got to dust off my warlock so I can use a description to make a trinket, because he'll actually be able to use the trinket. And I can make this and I can make that. And at level 111, I said, stop, we got to go to town. He goes, what's there? I go, stuff. I twinked out all his slots that were 225.
Ooh.
And then I got him the best enchants. And then I said, what weapon enchant do you use? He go, mastery, versatility, haste. He goes, I like mastery and I like versatility because he played a paladin. So it buffs his healing and it buffs his damage a little bit. So I go, well, I'll give you 4 mastery and 1 versatility. I'm not going to tell you which weapon to put them on, but I'm going to tell you every time you get in a level, your eye level on weapons is going to upgrade. So if you find something with good stats, don't hesitate. Enchant and shark the old one. Don't even think about it. I said you need 4 expulsum for your rings because it's a jewel crafter and alchemist. So I said you got 2 really good professions. You just have to feed them.
Right.
So I brought up my jewel crafter and I had about 120 gems that were uncut. I go, you can have these. I said, I'm not going to use them. They're useless to me now because they're like the lower quality gems. And I said, I'll give you 4 of the top end high gems. I said, you're going to need them when you get to 120. I said, don't burn those. I said, they're expensive. So, because when the game first came out, there were 5,000 gold each for the big gems. So
right.
And the big enchants were, 11, 12,000 gold. And I used to pay that because I had 2.1 million. But now I'm down to like 1.1 million. And I'm like, I hope the prices are as stiff for him as they were for me. And he told me he has, a sizable chunk of change. I go, well, hang on to it as much as you can because you're going to find out mats are expensive this expansion. So I gave him 1,000 ores and I crafted like 10 sets of every slot that he didn't have at 225 in the hopes to get a proc. I got 3 procs. So he's got a lot of 233 gear, which is blue, which is a little bit better than green. Yeah. And I said, it's not much, but I said, if it helps you get the kill without dying, then that quest a little bit quicker. And it was playing prot. I told him, I said, put a 2-hander on. I said, have at her. And we queued up for, what's that? The dungeon, the Waycrest Manor. He goes, I have no idea where to go. I go, I go up in the wrong spec. So I was protection. I switched into Ret. So we had 4 DPS and 1 healer. And we just blitzed through that dungeon. Everything died in about 10 to 12 seconds. Like even the bosses. It's like they got 1 cast off and they were dead. It's like boom, 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 boom. And we got to the end. He goes, I think we went up 4 floors, down 3, then back up 2. It's just like all over the place. And we had a rogue ahead of us who was just a little bit quicker than we were. One of us would get behind him and put a lay on hands to get him started. And he would just melt everything. And I gave him all the best enchants for his ring and his weapon. I think that's it for enchants this time around. Oh, I gave him a glove enchant for crafting faster. And I said, anytime you want the crafting enchant, I go, it costs nothing to make that one. And we just bulleted through that one. And then he goes, I need to take a break. He goes, I got to drink some of this stuff in to understand what happened. And it was fun to watch him. He's a raid leader, eh? So every expansion he comes in and he gets gear, and then he gets the best gear, then he gets a guild, then he pumps that guild to current rating level, then he does all the raids over and over. Just for fun, he was doing all the Pandaria raids. He was only missing 2 pets. So we did a bunch more Elegon runs, and now he's only missing 1 pet. I'm like, that's pretty good. I go, how long have you been doing these dungeons? He did Throne of Thunder 50 times by himself. 50 times. I'm like, that's pretty good.
Wow.
The only problem is when you get to Leishan, the plate bugs out. So you can't teleport him to him more than once. But it bugged on us at the same time. Like we get to the final transportation pad and only 3 of us can go in. Then only 2 of us, then only 1 of us can go in. And it's like really, I don't want to say off-putting. It's like, it's it's annoying because you hit him with half health in 10 seconds, and then he goes in the middle. He's immune. You can't do anything to him. Yep. And then he brushes you off the platform. So it's like, oh, we need strategy.
No,
and
normally you shouldn't be brushed off the.
But you have to have quick reflexes. My friend's computer is just a little bit slow. So before he can mount his horse, he gets thrown off the platform. And I stayed on the platform. He goes, how'd you stay on the platform? I told him I blinked. Because I had a mage in there and I had my robe. So my mage blinked forward just before we were going to get thrown off. So I stayed on the platform. Oh, okay. So like he's trying to figure out, because we have to go in there 2 or 3 people. And my rogue, he has to do the hook because the sprint is not enough for some reason. Maybe I wasn't facing the correct way. But anyway, I got brushed off as well. And I got a bunch of pets. The pets that he already had duplicates of, he would give me. Pets I had duplicate of, I would give him. I got a Xefi or something off the Twin Emperors. So that I didn't even know that pet was a thing. And then off the dogs, the 4 dogs, because we did 25 heroic, you get a pet there.
Yeah, you get the little spectral one, spectral dog.
Yeah. And I got a pet off Primordius. I thought you had to do LFR to do Primordius to get a pet. But he gives you a pet, and there's a mount, I think, Primordius. I was hoping we'd get a Dark Hand of Animus. We'd get a pet in there. We didn't. We couldn't figure out where to go after Jikun. Like, there's a little bit of a diagonal thing you have to do. I couldn't figure it out. But he had to show me, and eventually I understood how it worked. But
yeah, you need to pick up that feather.
Yeah, it was real interesting to do. I'd never done it. Like I told them, I've never been here. I don't even know where to go. I said, I've been here on the LFR, and in LFR, it's different. Because you're already almost at the boss when you start the LFR. So you don't have to do the connecting tissue. And I fell down to Tortoise, the turtle boss. And it's like, that's awesome. I wish I'd seen that before, but it was just before my time. I'm hoping to get to do some Spine of Deathwing, because I know there's a pet that drops there. But yeah, we did runs of Pandaria bosses over and over and over. And he kept saying, he goes, those bosses are never up. I go, our server is full capacity. I said, most times you're not going to get there with the pet or the boss being up. You just have to wait. I go, but I said I can realm hop us to a different realm. He goes, how do you do that? I go, I have 2 accounts. So I have a mage who's 109. So I ported him over to a different realm, and the boss is always up. So he's like, this is great. We don't have to wait. So it's like bing, 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 bing. Then different set of champions. Bing, 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 all 4. We did Nalak. We did Undasta. We did the Shaw. And we did it's not a big one. Galleon. Yeah. And oh, man, what fun. And the whole time I'm using a mount with a saddle, or he's using a mount with a saddle. One of us is driving, the other one's flying, the other guy, and it's like, I'm going to go for a coffee, or I'm going to go for this, or I'm going to get some food. And we played 8-12 hours, and then Darkmoon Faire was up as well.
Right.
So I said, go get your Wii buff, man. I said, that's what it's there for. And he came with me with Darkmoon Faire a couple of times, but he really, really wanted to see the new stuff. He didn't care about Darkmoon. Darkmoon to him is old stuff. But I said, the Wii buff is 10% more rep. I said, you're going to need the rep.
Oh, yeah.
And I explained to him, I said, there's 6 different reps you got to get for flying, and then you got to do a whole bunch of stuff. I broke down the achievement for him into parts, and I said there's going to be more stuff to do in endpoint 2.
Including 2 more reps, yeah.
Yeah, we were like kids in candy store, basically, because I was feeding him and he was feeding me, and it was great to. I got my paladin out, my paladin Draenei, and she was 112, and I hadn't touched her, and no enchants, no nothing, and it was fun to go see him tackle 7 mobs and just, heal him a little bit, and then he just mowed everything over. It's just like a big bulldozer, right? It's like a lethal weapon, basically. They're killing everything, and he's just hanging on for dear life. And it was like a good. I didn't even have a movie going because it was just ding. Like one thing didn't wait for the other. Like I would tell him, I'm taking the flight path because it gives me enough time to position my mage somewhere else to pull us over. Because I don't want to explain too much the mechanic of cross realm, but it's really like when you need it, it's there.
Right.
So you got to be really grateful to Blizzard that they put that in there in the game so that we can still do stuff when we're stuck on like full population realm or high volume realm. Because my friend told me, he says, I have to leave the server. He goes, I have to go somewhere else. I said, I can't. I said, I've got too much invested. I said, all my professions are here. I said, for me to move somewhere else is hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars. I said, I can learn to do other professions. He asked me, when's the last time you sold the Violet Sands? I said, 8 months.
Wow.
I said, I just can't crack the market. Everyone is dumping them because they need the gold to buy this stuff now to jack the price later when there's another influx of gold into the game. People are like treating this as a big stock market. And to me, it's not helpful to the little guy, but at the same time, I understand, like the giant machine has to roll somehow for the economy to keep going, right? And I went to buy herbs to make a trinket, and usually when I make a trinket, it's over 80,000 gold for the first one of the expansion. This one was very, very cheap because I had been collecting Expulsum for a long, long time. Mm-hmm. So I made the trinket for under, I think, 25,000 gold, which is nothing. Nothing. And it's like a 355 trinket. It's really good for tanking. So I'm waiting for him to max level to twink him out in 340 gear. I already gave him his weapon because I know the guy. He's going to play all night at one point, and he's going to hit like 5 levels in a row. And because at some point that guy hits a cruising speed, and then you basically can't pull him off the mobs. He's just so fast. And even in Throne of Thunder, he was in undergeared mages and whatnot, and he was just still like a train, just nonstop, really, really focused. And I wish I had that kind of a dedication. Like that's what you need as a raid leader, is to be able to pull the whole group along when nobody people are like, oh, I'm gonna go take a nap. I'm gonna put myself on follow, and you got to be able to keep the engine moving, right?
It's like cruise control.
Exactly. But I tell you, I was screening it because he said to me at first, he goes, why do you want the mage to follow us? I said, you're going to understand when we're done the dungeon. As soon as we were done the dungeon, as soon as the last boss hit the floor, the portal was up to where the next place we wanted to go. Vale of Eternal Blossoms or Stormwind or Darkmoon Faire or Dalaran. It didn't matter. I had all the portals. So there was no wait at the end. There was no 15-minute pause where everybody figures out what to do.
Right.
Yep.
We basically did 7 mount runs really fast. And that's valuable because it sucks when you have to go somewhere and you have to wait 15 minutes. Huh?
Time is money, friend.
Time is money, friend. Yeah. It sucks when you have to go somewhere and wait. No mounts, but I got a wackadoodle of pets. So I was really happy with the pets. I got to run Throne of Thunder first time ever on 25 minutes. I've never run it. It was achievement after achievement after achievement. It was great. The mage died on every pull. It's just a little bit under geared. I was like, oh, okay, I do need some gear on this character. I need boots or bracers or something to just come up. And so I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm gonna have to level transmutes and whatnot so I can make some gold on that character because I'm no, not horse side. I'm alliance side on that one, but I didn't bring up my alchemy as far as I wanted to. And then I go to make some transmutes for Pandaria, and I'm like, oh, I don't have any golden lotus. Whoops. I'm like, I could go to the auction house, or I could get a farm. Half Hill's not that far away. So I'm like, well, how long is it going to take to get to Revered? 2 days. The fair was up.
Right.
So in 2 days, you can get 12 plots, and you can get your Enigma seeds planted with 11, but not your short one, because you need one for the planting for farmer
you can just dig it up again. You can destroy it.
Right.
But what I'm doing is I'm planting everything, and I'm preparing for having 3 farms full.
Yeah, no, what I'm saying is you can pick up the one that you do for the daily.
Right.
You just need to plant it. You don't need to harvest it.
You don't need to harvest it. All you need to do is plant it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. I'm just really enjoying. I'm like, crap, I could actually start cooking again. I'm like, oh my God, it's a whole rabbit hole here, because you have Master of the Ways on that server.
Right.
Oh, I guess I'm going to get the cooking bell, and Nomi's going to be reborn again. It's like, why Blizzard? Why did you give me all these options? It's like, I just wanted alchemy.
Yeah, the cooking bell. Yep.
Yeah, the cooking bell. And it's like I'm already starting to think about, when I get to drain all
your mental space again.
It's like, oh gosh, I can't. I'm not gonna be able to stop for like days and days. My friend is like, "Why do you want to have your professions over there?" I said, "You don't understand." I said, "While I'm not making money here, I can keep making money somewhere else. People are going to keep buying stuff. The pets are going to keep selling, but at some point, you have to use whatever leverage you can during the slow time, so that when you hit the patch, your farms are producing on their own. They don't need you there holding the farmer's hand. Like, basically, I'm leveling 2 accounts. I'm not leveling my 3rd yet, because my 3rd account, I would like to level a Zandalari priest. It's just, I'm like, I could level a troll priest, but it's not the same as a Zandalari priest. Zandalari priest, I can get the armor. Speaking of armor, I was in the Eastern Plague Lands, and I had a level 58 pair of plate legs drop. I'm like, 58 plate legs. I've heard stories of greens dropping. I said, this is a green that hasn't dropped since the days of Pandaria for me, because I would already have the appearance.
Right.
The Imperial?
I don't remember which one it was, but it was like, it was a name close to that, and I was like, it was like of the Fire Flash, or I don't remember the exact name. Like, I wonder if I could make an outfit. So I've got my paladin out there, and there's about 7 trolls trying to hit her, but her armor class is so high that she's just standing there, pulling off her clothes, doing the wardrobe thing, with the trolls just completely surrounding her. And then I found that golden outfit that's pretty much like Princess Leia in Return of the Jedi. I'm like, well, I guess here's my honor to Carrie Fisher. Thank goodness for all those memories. I said, and I watched The Last Jedi, by the way. Mark Hamill, he worked really, really hard for that movie. Thank you for being there all those years and never quitting. And it was different. It was not the movie I expected, but it was a good movie. I did suit her up in the fancy plate bikini, and I go, she needs a sword that at least commands some respect. So I gave her the Admiral Taylor's sword from the garrison in Spires of Iraq. When you finish the quest, you get his sword, and it's an amazing looking sword. So I gave her that, which is a gigantic piece of gear, and I really like the outfit I put together for her. And she goes prancing around in the raids. It's like, it is what it is. And I'm doing my mount runs every week now, so I thank God for that. I'm really happy my friend came back. He didn't just come back for an hour and then disappear into the wild. He just came back and he collected all the gear I made for him. I'm not able to make a lot of cloth gear, so I'm not able to craft him a good cloak because the cloth on my server is actually insane prices. I don't know what happened. I went to a different server and I thought my mage is really, really too squishy. That goblin mage is max level 120. So I go, how much would it be on the auction house for a pair of boots and bracers? And they were actually 1,500 gold each, which is nothing. 1,500 gold, like you do that in a couple of dailies, because now there's that daily that gives you 2,000 gold. So I'm going around the servers with my max level, collecting my gold. He's just handing it to you. So, and the reason I'm leveling a couple of characters is because I don't know where the breaks are going to be in the story to get everything leveled to max on both sides for all the reps. So I kind of want the 2 mounts for doing both sides of the story. I'm not far off on the horde side, but the problem is my reputation is not ticking along like the humans. The human rep really have the best rep in the game. That plus 10% baseline helps you get to everything you want faster. But the horde rewards are quite sizable. Like there's stuff you can't get Alliance side if you don't have the horde reps. Like the Laughing Skull orcs, you can't get that reputation anywhere else in the game. Like you have to do the horde side of the store if you want those rewards. The transmog is amazing, and it's definitely worth the time investment if you want to level both sides. Some cinematics resemble, like when you see the other side, I'm like, why am I killing Mechatork if I'm Alliance?
Right.
Don't know. But I got my 3-star recipe on the first try, so I don't care.
If you look at your toon, you are not your Alliance toon. You are a camouflaged Alliance that resembles.
I know my Death Knight was they're dressed up as a goblin.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't really understand why we were killing Mechatork, but
you're not. It's the game basically shows you what happened on the other faction's version.
Right.
Okay.
So you're playing in disguise.
Exactly. Right. You play like the mercenary with the PvP, where you can, if you go into Ashran or went into Ashran, you had this mercenary option.
I undertook the battle with Jaina, and sadly for us, in the second minute of the encounter, somebody fell over dead on the floor, and I looked over, and he had a really cool name. His name was Salty. Man, that's a cool name. You know, like, oh, he's a hunter too.
That's the title.
I can't.
Yeah,
that guy can't be on the floor. I go, that guy can't be on the floor. So 2 minutes into the battle with Jaina, I res the guy. He stayed up the whole fight, and he was up at the end when Jaina died. So I was really happy. You know, like, no, we're not leaving you behind. You're coming with us. So he was.
Was his name Salty, or did he have the title Salty? Because you get that title.
His name was Salty. His name was Salty.
Wouldn't it be cool if he had the title too, and he could be?
Well, I know a player who does. He's on the Earthen Ring. Salty Slancha. It was this fantastic battle, and it raged on and on. I thought we were going to hit the enrage button, but somehow we pulled it off. And I didn't have the best DPS, but I had gear, and I went as DPS because I thought I'm going to be less. I basically died every pull. Just until the Jaina fight, actually survived the encounter. But basically, every single I didn't know where to stand. I didn't look up a guide. Nobody explained what to do. There wasn't even a mechanic explains like ready, check, and pull. Like, okay. But it was it was nice when you died. You didn't have far to run. So like that was really well done as far as the LFR goes. The dungeons, I'm starting to get the appreciation for, because I really haven't done a lot of dungeons this expansion. But now that I'm starting to gear up my other characters, I did the Anchorweed quest. You actually have to go down to the Oregon, and there's a tiny book on the ledge, the last set of stairs before the Oregon. That's where the quest item is. And it doesn't glow. There's nothing on the map. There's no X. There's no circle. So I guess they missed it. The devs kind of, it's in the dungeon. Like the add-on must have screwed up the map for me. I don't know. But I was like looking, and I was all by myself in the dungeon. So if I pull something, I'm going to die for sure. So I looked and I looked and I looked, and I'm like, I'm just going to look on Wowhead.
Right.
And even from Wowhead, you can't tell anywhere on the picture where it is. So what I did is I looked at the picture, and then I thought I'll step back. And when I got to the wall, there was nowhere to go that I could see the Oregon. Like either I went up the stairs or I went down the end of the tunnel. So I turned around, and there's 2 or 3 little sparkles on the wall. That's my item. I'm not coming back here because I'm on lockout for 24 hours. So I grabbed my thing. So now I got Anchorweed rank 2, and I'm like, I can see why some recipes have to be PvP, because everyone would do those professions and they would just load up their pockets with cash, and no one would make any money this expansion. So blacksmithing, leatherworking, tailoring, they had to put the PvP in there just to slow down a bit the progression of the 3-star recipes. Now that I understand that, it's not that you can't do the profession. It's just that Blizzard wants you to invest a little bit of time into what you prefer doing, not just plow headlong into the assembly line that was Warlords of Draenor. Like, I get it. People want to play the game for what it is, a game, not a second job, not a second job after your
right,
job.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, you know what? I had way more fun getting into trouble with my buddy, teaming up on the quest lines in Borealis Harbor and Tersgard Sound. That was way more fun than spending an hour and a half crafting stuff and doing the auction house. The auction house, you can only do it so many days out of the week. At some point, you want to break from that. And I think when I streamed what I do on the auction house, that may have put some people on the path of, okay, this is the assembly line. This is what I got to do to make a lot of gold. Well, Blizzard is like experts at making money. So they want us to play the game a long time and not completely burn out. And I can really appreciate that when my buddy needed the best enchant, that it really took 4 or 5 months of grinding rep to get that recipe to 3-star, that I had the work done ahead of time, because then he wasn't waiting for me. We were just doing it together, and it was just like barrels of fun. I know the ring enchant, when you scale down to 111, it scales down to 17. So it's not 37. But that +1 might make the difference between killing something and dying to something.
Right.
And he told me the next day, he goes, I'm hunting rares. I go, okay, enjoy. I said, just want to let you know that if you kill the rare at 111, and if you kill the rare at 119, the 119 rare is going to be worth more in your pocket as far as the eye level of the loot. Oh, okay, I don't have to do it all in one day. No, you really can pace yourself out and just have all the fun that you want with the game. And I was gonna go into the battleground next, but I'm like, there'll be time for that. We'll get into trouble with the brawls and whatnot. So, and I'm actually gonna try and see if I can PvP on my second account, like my first account PvP, my second account. But I have to figure out how to kill 20. So I think there might be limitations to how much you can do on your own. So my buddy and I will experiment with that, and I'll definitely level some alliance on different realms so I can realm hop to less populated servers, because full population, you don't see Galleon, basically. He's up for a split second, and a rogue just downs him like... Yeah, you basically have to be standing there the whole time, guarding.
Wow. And the Shah, the same thing.
Yeah. I got the Claw, the Shah on several characters because I've never killed them before.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought I killed them, but maybe there was a big reset or a cleanup event. You shot the Claw for the Shah no longer goes to the Veil of Eternal Blossom, the shrine. It now goes to Town Long Steps.
It always did.
No, I remember going with the on my main.
No, it was always, it was
the second level of the shrine.
It never. No. It always. You always had to go there because Taran Zhu wanted it, and he is.
There no more.
No, he's over there.
Okay.
He's always been at the garrison as the Shadow Pan, because he's the leader of the Shadow Pan.
Okay. Well, I'll take a spin out there and enjoy myself. It's always good to learn the game, because there's so much I've done over the years, and I'm having fun setting up my half hills. This is just, and it's silly fun. It's not
right.
There's no rhyme or reason. Like, why am I killing the Hosen? Because they're funny monkeys. They live to be 12, and it's just entertaining. And I had to go fish jade lungfish because it's not on the auction house.
Yeah.
You can buy it. You can buy it with an iron pot token, but you can just fish it. And I don't have a fine fish on that character. I'm like, I've never fished on this character. How can that be? So I have to go back to an earlier expansion where the hat actually drops, so I can learn fishing. Or maybe I vendored my hat. I don't know. Can you vendor the hat? The fishing hat?
Yes, of course.
I've actually started hitting sort. Yeah.
Funny thing. Way back when I got the boots on Trelane, the fishing boots from the.
Yeah.
I rented them for some reason, some time.
Oh dear.
Yeah, so now I don't have them anymore, sadly. And when I realized it, because normally I have my
the entire outfit.
I have the fishing outfit set to the add-on.
Yeah.
So it automatically equips it.
Right.
And when I realized it was too much time had passed, so I couldn't restore it anymore.
Oh dear.
It had dropped out of the restoration queue, so to speak.
These things happen. I played I think 5 games of Hearthstone this week. Surprisingly, I won almost all my games. I have 4 legendaries on my hunter deck, and I actually lined up all my quests being for hunters. So I don't know how that happened, but that's immensely helpful. And the thing that frustrates me the most is when people don't kill me. They have 30 health, I have 1, and then they line up this row of legendaries to take the screenshot at the end of how they won but they don't do the killing blow, right? If I've lost, just kill me. Move on, do your thing. But I found there's a lot of players who actually have their favorite setup on how to kill you. play all their cards, and they keep like 3 cards to avoid going into fatigue. And then, they line up with legendaries, and it's like if you drop the dragon card that kills everything and throws your hand out, you still stuck. You still die to fatigue because the person's at full health. I'm at no health. So I've basically tossed away almost all my my defense card, my shield card, because people don't even use the taunt cards anymore. Like, they just bypass them or they silence them. So I've just gone to pure DPS deck, and I try to rush the ending as quickly as. If I have the chance to end the game before turn 7, it's over. I'm out of there. I don't try to finesse it. But my priest deck is a lot better, but I'll talk about that some other time. And that's been my week.
Awesome. Nice. Had a good week.
Yeah, it was great.
Oh, excellent. Oh, how you doing? I get excited. I get giddy and love making mini alts. My dog is trying to poop for the Horde and for the Alliance. It was funny on my head.
Brilliant. How was your weekend? WoW?
My weekend WoW has been very good, very busy. I'm still doing my Nightfallen thing. Coincidentally, on both April and Aprillian. April had started out doing the High Mountain thing, but I definitely need flying for High Mountain. There's just too many places I couldn't get to. There are places I can't get to with Nightfallen easily, but I have a better chance. April, last week I mentioned she's revered. Now she's at 4,554 out of 21,000. So
nice.
Yeah. Now we went to Darkmoon Faire as much as possible on both tunes and on some other tunes. I had some fossils. I had everything I needed, although April did have to bring Aprillian some thread, because I had accidentally put it in, didn't have it, I don't know why. No, dye, that's what I didn't have, dye.
Yeah.
But that was nice, we got that little 8, and it's only 8 XP bonus not bonus, XP, rep bonus, but hey, every little bit adds up, know.
So true.
Yeah, and so now we've been doing Suramar, and doing all the quests that I can find out there. I took April back to the place for the Death Knights, and she couldn't finish any of those quests on the table. But then I thought, well, Thessarian, is he really helping out that much? Which he's not, So I sent him back, and now she's able to complete the quest on the table. And because we've been questing out here in Suramar, we got plenty of order resources. I got 2,447 on Aprillian, when before I used to run out. I couldn't even get packs of ghouls. So that's good. I have to take Aprillian.
Did you bring a different Death Knight, the Blood Elf, maybe?
What do you mean?
For the ally. One of them's a Guardian.
Say that again?
When you go out into the wild, Thessarian, you said he's not very useful.
Well, I'm in Suramar, so I'm doing like 110 content, so I didn't really need him. She doesn't have anybody else.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because there's other bodyguards that have
right.
slot.
We haven't done that part. And it's okay, but I guess basically when what I'm able to do now, and it's kind of nice, is to actually complete the order resources, that order hog quest, and do it with 100% and get bonuses. So I'm okay with that. And I've just been out riding around Suramar, doing quests, running to this place and that place. And I've been also, I know this is crazy, but going back to Orgrimmar, doing my the daily cooking quest, because that's a nice chunk of XP. And I have been going back to my garrison because I want to get that fur that the Prillian can use to make hex weave bags.
The sumptuous fur,
Yeah, and that's been working out really nice. Although some days it's weird because some days it's 40%, 40 resources, right? And then some days it's 16. So I've been holding out for the good days. And I've been running around. One of the things I found out is that there are these people and things in Suramar that you can give a little bit of mana to, and that seems to either give you somebody to fight with. What does it do when you give these strange people mana? Does it give you some? I'm hoping it gives me some extra Nightfallen rep.
You should be able to see it in chat if they give you rep.
Yeah. They're upon us. Please help me. I don't know what to do. And then he just, okay, feed 25%. I don't know how to go on. I've lost so much. Sometimes they follow you and help you if you give them mana. There are these little stumps in that valley that if you help, they'll shoot out they shoot out and hurt people who are fighting you.
Yeah, basically turrets.
Yes, turrets. Yep. Yes, exactly. This is kind of weird. Am I really giving up a lot to this person? 175, I guess so. This person, it's he just keeps asking over and over again. Good thing I have a lot because I have the enchant that the shoulder enchant that give me those packs. Right. Yeah, so I'm rolling in mana right now, but I never encountered this. Anyway, so I've just been having fun. I did go to Darkmoon Faire as much as possible. I logged off on the carousel, came back, logged into Hearth Home to the place in Suramar to get
right.
And I used to think it was a daily thing, but I guess they have to use up so much mana, and then you can feed them. It's I think it's over amount of time as opposed to.
Yeah, it's basically if you do it close enough to the reset. If you. I don't really know, but I
think it's by time. I think there's a red bar that goes down, and if you keep at
it is. So, like I said, if you do it close enough to reset, it won't work because there's still the reset factor. You can only do it, I think, once per day. So you have to time it correctly, or just wait.
Right, exactly. But I'm getting there slowly but surely. I did take out some other tunes. I'm doing crazy things like April had a whole bunch of garrison resources. So she brought some fur. But Aprillian is not in Clan of Darkness. She's in Alia Acta Ventus. And so I had to send... Well, I could have just sent it in the mail and waited an hour. I don't know why I didn't do that, but I logged off one tune, sent it to one tune on April's account and then had her send it to Mia. Mia sent it to Aprillian, and she got it. I know it's just crazy, but it's fun to. explore the mechanics of the game and see what happens. What else is there? I guess that's about it. I'm doing pretty good. I'm mining and herbing and hex weaving, and before I know it, I'm gonna be exalted with the night falling. Yeah. That's my goal.
And if you, by the way, if you want to get the achievement for flying, you, as far as I remember, you only need revered with each faction. Isn't that correct, Construct?
For which?
For Draenor, for Warlords of Draenor.
No, Draenor. If you want flying, you have to be exalted with Nightfallen in order to complete.
Wait. Draenor isn't Nightfallen. That's Legion.
Okay. I thought you said flying.
Nightfallen. Draenor, you had to do the 100 treasures. 100 treasures was like a big deal because not everyone knows where the treasures are. So what I always keep a character around to fly everyone to like 75 treasures because I don't pick up my treasures. So they're still on my map. So I always have a character around just to fly people because that is like a nasty achievement because there's all these treasures in Draenor that are on top of a box, on top of a scale, on top of a scaffolding, and like you have to do like this complicated.
All right, so come and get Aprillian and take her to those treasures.
Yeah, you just hit me up for that, and I'll fly you to all the treasures because like
who am I looking for?
Spires of Iraq is just loaded with treasures.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. And that's been my week. I had a good week. I actually turned in some of those quests that I had gotten from some dungeons. I'm trying to think. It might have been Love is in the Air dungeon. You know, where you take it to Darkmoon Faire and get a buttload of XP. So that was good. And that's been my week.
Nice.
I find it very, very easy to be true. Am allerschönsten war es doch zu Haus und ob sonst mich einst in die Welt hinaus und in der Ferne suchte ich mein Glück. Wer kennt den Weg zurück?
And now it's time for Add-on Spotlight and a whole bunch of other things with Grand Nagus. Grand Nagus, what have you got for us this week?
This week we have, we have a couple of things. Oops, what's this? This is
it's some cereal. It's supposed to be good for you.
This is the wrong spreadsheet. Here we go. This is much better. So, first of all, let's talk a little add-on stuff. And topic of the week, rather than add-on of the week, is a website for people that want to test out the WoW classic add-ons. And I went, like I promised last time, I went out into the internet and checked for some of them that were compatible to or re-envisioned ones from or for classic WoW. And I came across this website. It's called legacywow.com. And it has a list of add-ons that you can use on the current client, on the beta client. So if you are playing the beta, and if you want to use some add-ons or check if this or that type of add-on works or whatnot, you can go ahead and look up, among others, that site, legacywow.com. I put a link in the show notes so you can find it easily. Website that, like I said, listed that is supposed to work in Classic WoW. I'm myself not part of the beta for WoW yet, so I can't confirm that they work, but they're at least on this site. So, like I said again, test it if you want. There is the opportunity for you at least to do so. If you are a beta tester, go check it out. So much for the add-ons. With my tunes, my week, I finally completed 2 sides of every tale, which is completely achieved. Thank you. Complete the achievements listed on the continents for Zandalar and Kultiras, and that gives you those special mounts that Construct hinted at earlier, a wolf and a horsey for the respectively opposite factions. So the Horde gets the horsey, and the Alliance gets the wolf, as far as I know. It's like the reverse. At least that's what I think is the way it works. Also, for the first time since time walking has been introduced, I thought this might be a good time for me to finish off some quote-unquote exotic reps. So I went and checked with the characters on my account that had quote-unquote the most time walking badges on them that I really didn't need. So I found 2 tunes that had about 15 or 1600, and I finished off the Laughing Skull orcs finally.
Oh, wow.
So I have all the factions on the Horde side finished on Trelane now for the Draenor expansion. And then I thought, let's look at what other exotic faction or rep related achievement I still need on him. So I looked through the list and I found the achievement Shatrath Divided, which is earn exalted status with either the Scryers or the Aldor. And I thought, not that far off, but still it's quite a bit. And I thought, do I go farming or what? No, I really don't. And I was all about to say, well, no, that's not going to happen. And then I thought, I might as well. I looked at my gold stash and I thought, okay, let's go and see how much the rep items are on the auction house. So I went there and I looked at the Marks of Zagreus and the Fell armament. And I bought items for a total of 1,600 gold, which is really, really cheap. and I maxed out the Aldor rep on Trelane, and he got the Shadras Divided achievement. So there are 2 more down and still a couple to go. I'm at 84 out of 100 now for the big achievement. So yeah, and I started to make a spreadsheet of what to do and when to do it, and I think I'm going to focus on that over the summer, I would think. So sometime shortly before BlizzCon, hopefully I should be done with most of them, and at least be way past 90, which is the next stage that you get. You get the 80, 90, and then 100, and then I can't even see what the reward for the 100 is. I think it's a mount or something, but I'm not completely sure. Where the 90 doesn't reward you anything other than the achievement itself. So yeah, a couple of Lost Cause in the chat room says mount and title for 100. Okay, cool. Thank you, Lost Cause. I was thinking something about that, but I wasn't totally sure. So okay, a couple of tunes that I'm leveling at the moment. My Gnome GK Dolly, she hit 70. Natima, my Lightforged Draenei, hit 115. And Fitzpatrick, my Forsaken Priest, hit 31. So those are 3 tunes that I'm actively working on. Also, Natima went to Darkmoon Faire, like most of my other tunes did as well, and she last month I started fishing with her in earnest to get the fishing skill up, because there is no better area than Darkmoon Faire to fish,
right, and
get fishing skill up. So I continued that task this month, and I fished up 500 Darkmoon Daggermore.
Oh, congrats.
Thank you, to get the 500 to then buy the Dark Water Skate, the mount.
Oh, congrats. That's a long one to get.
Yeah.
Like I said, fish up 500 plus all the junk. So, yeah. But I finally got that. Now it's about getting the 1,000 tickets to get the other mount. And that's like my next Darkmoon Faire goal, is to get 1,000 tickets. I have 2 tunes that have 200 plus tickets, so I'm not sure yet which one is going to continue that task, but yeah, that I'll figure that out eventually throughout the next month. I bought 2 of the 3 new balloons from the fair for 90 tickets each. And yeah, the last one will come eventually next month, once I figure out which of the 2 with 200 plus tickets is going to keep his or hers, and then the other one, the other tune will spend them on, among other things, the last of the 3 balloons. then I'd probably buy a third tonk for another 90 to then have a tonk team for pet battling.
April.
So, what else is there? I watched a video on YouTube last week, and that was from Taliesin and Evertel, the YouTubers that and Taliesin talked about an idea that I really found intriguing, and I want to hear your guys' thoughts on that. He basically suggested that similar to us getting the allied races, which are not really new races, they're like, yeah, you know what allied races are. Rather than keeping the classes and giving us new races, allied races, whatever you want to call them, we would keep the classes but modifying them and changing the classes themselves. The closest comparison that I can come up with is the green fire modifications to the warlock, which is a thing where you have green fire versus red fire, and still have the warlock feel kind of different because it's fel fire rather than normal fire, but amp that up to I don't know how much higher, where you basically redesign a class to a specific theme. For instance, I'm only going to mention one here, where you can go and watch the video, and I put a link in the show notes. You can watch it. Many people, especially obviously on the Horde side, that are hunters or rogues, they want to see Dark Rangers, Dark Ranger hunters. You know, the Blood Elven model servants of the Dark Lady. Mm-hmm. But that's not a class. The Dark Ranger isn't a class. Obviously.
Right.
We only have rogues or we have hunters. We don't have, and we don't have an ashen colored type of skin for the blood elves, and it's still a blood elf. So what Taliesin proposes is to slap on a class skin on, I think he said rogues and hunters respectively, where you can modify them to be Dark Rangers with all the armor, with all the heritage armor, with all the features that the Dark Rangers have. I really, really want that. Really want that. Because it makes the experience of playing a character so much closer to what the philosophy that you go for with like role play or whatnot. Makes it so much better, in my opinion. He mentioned several versions of this. I can't even. It's been a while since I watched the video, like almost 2 weeks. So one thing I remember is the necromancer, because that's in the title of the video, where you modify one of the specs of the warlock to be a necromancer, like the demonology warlock, where you don't have demons that you raise, but you have ghouls and all that stuff. So it's a necromancer rather than a demonology warlock. And it's easy to do, and that's the quintessential thing of it. It's easy to do because you just slap different names and different icons on the same spells. You just slap a different skin on a minion that might still have the abilities of the minion that's underneath, much like you have the different glyphs for your unholy minion as a DK, or you have the polymorph of the mage that can be so many different things, but it's still a polymorph sheep underneath. So it's just about optics, but it gives you the feeling that you play a quote-unquote completely different class or spec. And it makes the game much more immersive. So for me, I find that to be a really, really good addition on top of the allied races that we have. And it doesn't require, and that's another important part of the whole philosophy of class skins, it doesn't require 1 ounce of rebalancing on Blizzard's side. It's just cosmetics. And that's what makes it so good. Lost Cause in the chat room says, I saw that it is a cool idea. I had a similar idea back when they were adding new class/race combos in Cataclysm. Stuff like, instead of gnome priests, they could be battle medics, using gadgets instead of the light. Yeah, and now that you mentioned the light, Taliesin mentioned a Lightforged can be priests, shadow priests, which is totally it might be canonic, but the philosophy is wrong. Because a Lightforged, a user of the light, shouldn't be able to be a shadow priest. So I can't remember what he called that thing, but you can rework that to a special, unique style of game where basically you still have it be kind of light, but underneath the whole thing, you still have the mechanics of the Shadow Priest, being that it needs to be a full-out DPS. So you have all the light versions of that shadow spec, And like I said, I can only repeat myself. I think that's a genius idea, and Blizzard should really consider doing it. It doesn't cost them much. It's just a couple of skins they would have to create, a couple of new buttons, maybe new names to go with the theme. So I think it's easily done compared to giving us new classes. They could do much more, many more. They could almost give us like half the classes could get new versions for specs or the entire class. So what do you guys think?
Yeah, I don't know. Kind of lost. We're looking for treasures, and I'm like, I haven't done this in like so long. I don't remember how to do it. Oh, the prelim's muted.
Excuse me? What's your take on that? On that idea?
She's muted. I can't hear her.
No, me neither.
Sorry.
We're in the middle of fighting to get these stupid things, so sorry.
Loot it.
You know, it's not here for everyone. It's not here for Brilliant.
Everyone who has threats should have it.
Yeah.
And then I do the 2 mounts, and then I do follow the mount, the other mount.
But like you said, maybe she already had it. What does the chat room say?
Like I said, Lost Cause says it's a good idea.
Right.
So, okay. I just wanted to mention it. The other thing I want to talk about is classic, and that's another discussion that's going on the forums at the moment. Is will we have a quote-unquote war between classic WoW and retail WoW? Will we see that, and some people even say, we've heard that millions and millions of times before, WoW is dying, and then the reply always comes, well, if WoW dies, there's only one reason. There's only one thing that can kill WoW, and that's WoW itself.
Right.
Now we have 2. So could classic WoW be the quote-unquote end of retail WoW?
Right.
Is that a possibility?
No, because I think people will play classic WoW for the novelty of it.
But it's not a novelty anymore.
Right.
Novelty, in my opinion, novelty was the free private service. That was novelty. Now you have it stand up next to retail WoW as a full-fledged, equal brother or sister, whatever you want to call it, to retail. It's not a novelty anymore. So, in my opinion, it's a thing where Blizzard really needs to be careful about how they treat retail WoW now, because many people will see, will listen to what the other people said before, where, WoW was so much better, WoW Classic Vanilla was so much better than it is now, whenever now was after the fact. And if you're not satisfied with the product, let's say in this case it's retail, people will either completely disabandon playing WoW, which has always been an option, or they will turn to the other WoW and say, retail WoW is so much easier. It's much too easy. Why can't you take this or that aspect of Classic and introduce it into retail? Why can't you modify retail WoW and put in God knows what? Many people aren't satisfied with the talent trees we have now, or talent rows versus the talent trees. Many people say that, and I've heard this from several YouTubers and Twitch streamers. Many people say it's not very satisfactory reward-wise in the leveling process to play retail because you only get a quote-unquote satisfactory reward every 15 levels with regards to a talent point. And in Classic, starting at level 10, you get 1 talent point per level. Each time you ding, you get a talent point. So there is that difference. Then there is the thing, I heard it today, where people say, I can mass pull everything nowadays, and it doesn't matter almost what level I'm at. I can just round up 10, 15 mobs, so to speak, and then mass AoE them down, and it doesn't matter. On Classic, you have to, as a warrior, for example, you need to watch yourself if, depending upon your spec, you've got difficulties with 2. If you're a DPS spec, it's almost certain death if you pull 2 mobs. So it's something where, in my opinion, Blizzard has to watch out, because you have a actively playable comparison now. And you can see that for Blizzard, it quote unquote doesn't matter if people play retail or Classic as long as they pay the sub. But that's only half truth again, because all the people that play Classic WoW, they don't use the microtransactions. There's no store in Classic WoW. So they have to keep people in the retail version of WoW to be able to make money off of them. Because I've said this quite a few times now, and I'm sticking with it. Why do we have the same sub price today than we had on day one? Inflation has gone up. It's become more expensive for Blizzard to run the game. Definitely. The only conclusion I can draw, and many, many people agree with me, is that a big chunk of money Blizzard makes from WoW comes from the microtransactions now. comes from buying or selling mounts, pets, character, services.
Right.
All that stuff. And I would even go so far as to say it's more than 50%. Because the sub numbers are so low now that Blizzard is, I don't know if they're scared, but that for years already, they weren't willing to publicly tell us how many subs are active or are out there. The numbers, they weren't willing to tell us anymore. And there's a reason for that. And in my opinion, that reason is it's really, really low numbers. And we can only hope that the numbers go back up because people choose to come back or they migrate from the private service to Classic WoW or whatever other reason that is linked to WoW Classic that will bring back subscribers to Blizzard. So yeah, and in my opinion, if Blizzard is not careful with how they treat retail and they make it even easier, more mainstream, there isn't a challenge anymore, there isn't substance anymore in the game, it's just quote-unquote mainstream. And quite a few people apparently don't like that. Lost Cause in the chat room says, I don't really see Classic having much effect on retail in the long term. I think the nostalgia will wear off. Classic wasn't hard. It was tedious. Okay. Classic is harder than retail at this moment in time. I see where you're going, and it's a point of view that I can understand, but the leveling process and the fights, if you think, we're not going to talk about the starting zones, the very starting zones. But as soon as you get into, say, Barrens or Westfall, the two zones that were part of the BlizzCon experience that you could play even at home. As soon as you get there, not many classes/specs can deal with more than 2 mobs at a time. And that's not a thing that you can totally do that on retail now. The thing, and the same way, if you go to Silithis in Classic WoW, I remember this vividly. If you go and farm the Twilight texts outside of Cenarian Hold in the 3 Twilight encampments there, well, okay, that's just the one outside of Cenarian Hold, but you know which 3 I'm talking about. If you pulled more than 2 of those Twilight things, it basically didn't matter how well geared you were. If you were like, I don't want to say if you were raid gear, that was a different thing. But if you were like, had blue gear, like dungeon gear, it didn't take more than 3 mobs to kill you. And if you were really unlucky and you had a spec that wasn't like really top-notch or medium level, high medium level, you would even die with 2. So it is, in my opinion, vanilla was harder even in the open world. So, the other remark is, remember every 30-day token people buy with gold gets Blizzard $20? Yes. And that's my point.
Right.
That's my point with regards.
The long video from Asmongold, him talking about all this, like it is what it is.
It is what it is, and that's what I'm saying. People, if Blizzard, and that's like my last statement, so to speak. If Blizzard brings a sizable part of the community to the stage where they say, I still want to play WoW, but I don't like retail the way it is at the moment. That makes people stop playing buying tokens. Let's stick with Lost Causes comment about the tokens. Because I don't need tokens to play classic WoW. I don't need to buy pets. I don't need to buy a mount to play classic WoW. Well, you don't need to buy them in retail either. You don't need to. But you have the option, and we all know that given an option on the silver platter, making the underlying demand subconsciously teasing you to, and all that, we all know the way that the companies tease you to buy stuff. All that microtransaction stuff isn't part of vanilla WoW or classic WoW. So that in effect costs Blizzard money if too many people still play the sub but don't play retail. So how much? Yeah, just food for thought.
Right. So there are many options to play.
Yeah. So only WoW can kill WoW. That's been my week.
Good week.
Good week.
We're stuck here, April.
I guess it's time for email now.
Email, folks?
Email. Email.
La data. You've got mail. Who's next? I'm addicted to you, baby.
Lovely little email. Our email today is from Kyle. And Kyle writes, hello, everyone. Here are my audios for the week. Blast from the Past is from episode 373. Enjoy. And yes, Kyle has a segment this week, so he got to play. Let's listen to Kyle's week.
Hello, Control. Well, Kyle here. The school year is finally done. All the grades are entered. And so now comes the beautiful time of summer where I get to catch up on sleep and just gorge out on video games and make some time to plan for the next year. This school year, it's always bittersweet to end the year. I love my kids dearly. I just, I treat them all as my own sons and daughters or cousins, depending on, how close we get. I don't know, you just get to know them for 9 months. You get so used to hanging around them the whole time, and all of a sudden one day it's like, okay, bye, gone. And sadly, I don't have much of a social life outside of school and WoW, so they are kind of my social life in a way. And while I am looking forward to being a hermit and getting my much needed alone time, I will admit that after a couple weeks, I'm really going to start missing a lot of them. Just, their family. But the other sad thing about this year, and it's, God, this last week of school has been such a stressful week. We tragically lost a student to a swimming accident in the last week of school, and I had taught this student, and he was just, God, he was a fantastic kid. Sociable, always friendly, never turned away whenever I asked him to go help out another student, and I would talk to students, talk about him, and some students literally said that one student was the only one that ever talked to them in school. That kid had such a bright future, and it made such a huge impact on the school. It's just so sad to lose him. And I don't know. It was a tough last week. Anyway, sorry to end on that depressing note. So I'll be getting back into WoW soon. Don't know what yet. I have an itch to level something, so we'll see what I decide to level on, I guess. This week's Blast from the Past is from episode 373. I hope you enjoy. Take care. Bye.
So sorry, Kyle. Oh, and so to have gone to the end of the school year and to lose someone at this time, it's very, very painful. My thoughts are with you. There aren't words enough to say how sad that is. I do want to thank you again for what you're doing for our future, because you are creating our future, and I think that's awesome. I'm in awe of any teacher anywhere, and especially you. Yeah. I'm glad you're going to be getting to play more, and I thank you for all that you do. And now let's do your blast from the past.
Yeah.
Today is Sunday, June 8th, 2014, and this is episode 363 entitled, Welcome, Maya. I'm Aprillian, your host, introducing Maya, sorry. And the title of our show is because I have a new puppy, and her name is Maya Danette. And you may hear her from time to time during the show because she makes little noises, but she's being a good girl right now. And, I debated, and this particular dog came available, and I wanted to grab her. She's half Jack Russell and half pug.
And my friend, my very, very dear friend, who I love to go and visit every single month for a whole week. I took him Tim Tams. I took him Freddo Frogs. I took him Caramellos. And what did he say? No. Jeremy. Yeah, pretty much like Jeremy Feasel is still a weasel. So I said, right, see you same time next month. And left in I wouldn't say a huff, but left in a...
Perhaps a snit?
Slightly. Just slightly. So, but...
I'm telling you it's because he thinks you won't come see him if he gives it to you.
I know. I did get that tweet, and I thought that was hilarious. So, yes, poor Jeremy. But I'm determined. I'm determined that one day this pet will drop for me, and Yes, I will be super, super excited when it finally does.
I think I'll hear you all the way from Australia.
I think everybody will.
The squee heard around the world.
Yes, exactly. But I mean, I know everyone plays this game differently, and that's for me
beauty.
one of the things I love, because between the four of us here, there's this diversity of how we play the game. And it's not just the game, but it's the things that get involved, like, your alphas and the betas and all of that, because that's still part of the game. And for those people that want to do it, hey, no, not a problem. If that's what you're into, go for it. But for me, I love the fact that I can just go, well, in 10 years, you know what? I've had about 2 weeks off, and that was because I had no internet. But the rest of the time that I've played, because I love this game. For me, I haven't walked away from this game. I still love logging in. I've still got things that I want to do. Yeah, alts and big achievements and see my friends and socialize and all of that. But I'm still here playing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And enthusiastically. Yeah. I mean, listen to our level of excitement every week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I didn't just do Battlegrounds. I had to do some things between Battlegrounds. There were like a 5 or 6 minute wait for some of these randoms this time. It wasn't like last week where you queue, go. So I was farming dark soil out in the heartlands, and I happened to notice this Pandaren guy. He was standing there, and he was digging away at one of his carrots, and he's talking. He's like, "Grow giant carrots," they said. "It'll be fun," they said. Why does anybody need a carrot this big? And I never thought of it. They have these massive vegetables, but how do they get them out of the ground? The poor guy was digging and digging and digging. So I thought that was pretty funny. Yeah. I also saw that among the pumpkins, I think there were little persnickety pumpkins. They're little mobs that if you click on them,
right? Yeah, that you fight.
Yeah. I never ever noticed them before, so I fought one just so I could say I did it.
That was so cute. I ended up having to give that dog away because she was just wow. She was not part Jack Russell. She was 100% Jack Russell, and you can't have a Jack Russell in a tiny apartment. But
it was Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde all over again. And you weren't sure which one was winning?
Well, no. The biggest thing was at that particular time, I had just lost my hearing in my left ear, and my balance was totally off, and she was just too strong for me. Yeah. And this Maja is just perfect. And, we are still enthusiastically playing, and so is Rogue Slayer and Lita. And that's what is nice about this game, is that you develop a certain affinity for not just the gameplay, but the game style and the people you play with. So, yeah. So, thank you, Kyle, for bringing us that blast from the past. We have something special today. We're going to play a little something that goes like this.
We are the Forsaken.
You're listening to a Corpse Run Radio minicast.
Can you believe it? Episode 100 already. Well, 50 episodes and 50 minicasts. Overall, episode 100. And what better way to celebrate that milestone of 100 CRR episodes than this?
I just started to, tap into, wow, what is really happening here? And all these artists that do renderings of your character and the beautiful creative stuff that people make with their passion for the game. I just found this so really great and lovely. So, I think it definitely, pushed me into want to like something and want to say, wow, that's amazing. And this cosplay. I mean, some of this cosplay is like, what? Did you make that? What in the name of heaven? That thing is so cool.
Yes, the Dark Lady is back for episode 100 of Corpse Run Radio.
Oh, no.
Thank you for listening. Now go out, my minions. Let nothing stand in your way. Until next time.
So listen to Corpse Run Radio. Congratulations on 100 episodes. That's big, and you can get the full episode at Corpse Run Radio. A link will be in the show notes. I can imagine how she must feel when she sees cosplay. It's just got to be, it's amazing on so many levels.
Oh, yes, definitely. Yeah. It's, I'll have the 100th episode out closer to 8.2 because I want to incorporate some stuff that's part of 8.2 and the preparation for that. So I hope that we'll get a release date for it pretty soon. So yeah, but if that's not on the horizon within about 2 weeks, I'll release the episode anyway. So
It's so interesting to hear her regular voice.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
And still, like I mentioned so often, it is the same person.
Right.
Definitely.
Right.
But and this is a part of our discussion as well. I'm like giving you a little behind the scenes thing, teaser, whatever. Among other things, we talked about her version and the first actress that portrayed the Dark Lady, and how closely they resemble each other, even though it is Patty's own voice that is so close to it.
Right.
And it's. I mean, there are like she said, there is like she said in the first interview, she has an accent, and she has a little, what did she call it? Nasality in the voice that gives her that special something. But still, I really like it. I really think that it's great that they found her with her voice, her natural voice, being as close to it as there is, because every time I talk to Patty, it's like somehow I feel that the Dark Lady sits in the back of Patty's head and smiles about this and thinks, "Oh, let me out. I've got something to say myself." It's really, yeah, and I'm eternally grateful to her that she was willing to sit down with me for another interview. So from this place, thank you again, Patty, for doing this. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, now's the time I get to play this.
We're clan of darkness here together. What's in an egg that we can't weather? Apocalypse. We've all been there. the same old boss. Why should we care? We're clan of darkness here together. What's in an egg that we can't weather? There's nothing that we can't face. Except for bunnies.
Constructs. What's going on with Clans of Darknesses and Ctrl-Alt-WoW and Wormester Cord and Nevikov?
Well, it looks like the Clans of Darknesses have been busy with green stuff. I see at level 40 we got Greeny Gaga. At level 50 we got Greenadelic. At level 70 we got Greenlock. And I know from personal experience, when I was leveling anything Iron Man, I always wanted rested XP. If you don't have rested XP, the mobs just hit harder. Your bar is purple. It's just the way it is. And at level 85 on Winterhoof, we have somebody who's actually hit level 85, I think, on a Gatherer tune.
Wow.
A little bit Verdi. That is like insane. That's a lot of rocks and flowers. But mind you, probably has a lot of gold, from Auction House, Auction House Tycoon picking up flowers.
Right.
And back on Earthen Ring, we have Constructs 11, like I said last week, was just on the verge of hitting level 120. So he's maxed out at level 120. And we also have Razuri, who's hit level 120 in the last 10 days. So congratulations to all our levelers. Keep on trucking. I'm just looking forward to having my Zandalari rep at Exalted so I can have a holy priest or something for Zandalari. Zandalar forever.
Zandalar forever. All right. Well, I want to do a shout out to Constructs for flying me around. This is so stressful for me. I can imagine what it must be like for you.
This is like nothing. Like I understand why people found it hard to treasures in Draenor. The scenery was different.
Right.
We were just coming out of Pandaria. Pandaria, you could go anywhere. And Draenor was like...
But I'm looking at Pathfinder, and there's so much more I have to do.
One step at a time. This is all you can do, really.
Right. Well, thank you. And it'll improve my life 100%, even if one of my tunes can fly, and then I can just fly the other one around.
Oh, all of the tunes can fly.
Well, I have two different accounts.
One account can fly.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, but if she has two accounts, then she gotta have twin flyers.
Oh, is that an achievement?
Oh, it should be.
It should be.
Right. What am I doing here?
There's a thing called Iron Horde Munitions. I don't know what it looks like. Oh, there it is. It's a tiny box.
Oh, another tiny...
Right beside my character there.
All right. Another tiny box. There's a lot of
you can hardly tell. It doesn't really glow, but if you have the treasure map for that stone, it puts the name over the treasure, so you know when your mouse goes over it that you're there.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Like I said, it's this tiny thing on the ground.
All right, so
it's called.
Well, I got it. Look him out. So next week, next Monday, the 17th, we will be broadcasting episode 618. I'll get this out tonight. And thanks, everybody.
Hallelujah. Amen, sister.
Thanks, chat room. Where did you go?
I got big signs above the head there.
I know, but I only see one.
Over here.
Oh, there's
in the open.
Blue one. Okay. I got to squeeze through this. So this is a Prillian for the Pathfinder in Draenor.
And this is Constructs for that ring around the victory lap once you got flying everywhere.
This has been Glenn Nagus, Rule of Acquisition, number 19. Satisfaction is not guaranteed. Not even with a Dark Lady. Bye, guys.
What?
She could satisfy me. Sorry. Oh.
Not safe for work.
Clean tag.
Clean tag.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, everybody. Bye, chat room. Bye, bye, people listening on the podcast. Thank you for downloading.
Bye. That's awesome.
Yes.
Not safe for work.